anyway, well, I would love to hear about, the Memorial Roses Foundation because it sounds like such an incredible thing. First, I would like you to tell me what it is, when did it start, why did it start, what does the cemetery mean to you? Just those kinds of things, or you can just tell me free flow. I'm going to tape if you don't mind, so I make sure I get it all down.
Yeah, good Lord, I mean, you've got 5 questions there. Kevin, shoot.
We are 3 years old now, and what we're about is honoring those that have served the country and thanking them as well, along with their families, because the facts are that there's the person on the front lines, and then there's a whole support system of family and loved ones behind them. Romero is the one who has spawned the concept, so I'll let him talk about the start of it, and then we can pick up with where we've headed to.
Okay.
Okay, well, first of all, Renee, Ramiro is my name in Spanish. I'm from Washington, D.C., and everyone calls me Robin, so that's a lot easier.
Oh.
So everyone in D.C. I was born in D.C., and my mother's a Washingtonian as well. And my connection with Arlington started with my grandfather having been buried there in 1963. I remember that quite well. I have 5 members of my family there, from Uncle Romeo Freer from the Spanish-American War.
Wow.
My grandfather, Robert Freer, World War I. His brother was Paul Freer. Uncle Paul, who died in 96, was a wagoneer in World War I. I didn't even know that rank existed. And then my Uncle Barry was in World War II. I didn't serve, but many members of my family continue to serve. So that's... I started this in 2004, 2005. We did something and we gave out bouquets in Roseburg National Cemetery, and I did that for a couple of years. And I thought in 2011, why don't we try Arlington on Memorial Day? And that's how it started. I grow flowers in Ecuador, so it's sort of a natural fit about what I can do to show. And I think Kevin put it in the best words. Is not only to show appreciation for those who serve, but also to thank the support group, the families, and show them that we haven't forgotten them either. It was a natural fit by being in the flower business.
And I read on the website that you've gone beyond just you two. There's like a lot of different floral companies out there participating now.
Yeah, we have many sponsors involved with getting it done. Effectively, Romero and I have funded this from our pockets, and the balance is made up by companies helping us, donating their goods or services. Along with last year, we had about 3,000 volunteers all in.
Wow, really?
Yeah, so it's become quite an event. I think the first year, Romero, you had, maybe 10 people there?
Yeah, 12.
12.
But that was at Arlington. When we started with 3,000, we did 200 cemeteries around the country, Renee.
200 cemeteries on the same day?
Yeah, we do it all for Memorial Day.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Okay. So, let's see. I know, it makes sense, obviously. You have a business, you have flowers, you sell the flowers, you have, obviously, a huge network of people you work with to get the flowers out there. But why did you had to have, something inspired you. So were you there at a day and looked around and wished you could give everybody flowers? Or how did it come about, exactly, the idea?
Well, there's probably 2 opinions here. I think it's personal. This isn't a strategic thing. So for me, I went to Arlington as a very young child with my grandparents. My grandmother's brothers both served. My one uncle, Russell Sell, served in World War II in Europe, was actually friends with Patton.
Wow.
Served in Korea and served in Vietnam. And he is now interned in Section 66. And then her other brother, who's in Section 11, was a naval commander World War II in the Pacific Theater and served most of his time on the Missouri. And obviously we all know what the Missouri is, or if you don't know, you should know.
It's the one that I guess it's sunk, obviously, right?
No, the Missouri surrender treaty was
surrender.
signed by
Oh,
the
goodness.
Japanese in Tokyo Bay.
Ah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. That's
Everybody
what we're here
should
for.
know, but
See, we're
Yeah.
accomplishing our task.
I apologize for that, but thank you for
No,
telling me.
don't.
No, not many
Listen,
people know that, Renee. Don't feel bad.
Well,
don't feel bad, but this is a great point. Here's why we're doing it. People don't know. You hear about the war, whichever one you want to pick on the news. You hear about conflicts. You hear about service people. You see a military funeral if you're traveling around D.C. maybe. But people forget, and it is no more than a 30-second news spot on the nightly news. But people forget the price of what we do. And whether you agree with the conflict or you don't, it doesn't matter. Real people are still involved. Real families are involved. And really that might be the root of this whole thing. It's about recognizing that sacrifice. It's about telling people thank you. It's about making people feel like someone actually cares. And I think that's the driving force for me. You probably can hear my passion spark up a little bit there. But that's it. It's explaining things that have happened and the price people have paid for our country. And again, the conflict and whether you agree with the reasons are secondary. You have to remember there's real people involved. And I'll end with a comment about Arlington. Arlington, to me, I remember going there as a little child with my grandparents. I can remember visiting there a few other times later in life, and now obviously I'm there quite a bit. But it's a community of people. If you watch any of our videos that are on Facebook or the website, you'll hear we did several small segments of people that helped us. A lot of those people, on the spur of the moment, asked if they can help. They were there visiting a loved one or other people for folks that couldn't come, and hey, can I help hand out flowers to visitors? Can I hand out or can I honor headstones with a rose? Sure. So it's a very unique communal atmosphere there, and I'm going to quit there and let Romero talk.
Well, I hope you have all that written down, Renee, because that's very, very well said. I'll throw a couple of things in here. I'll give you a little bit of background who I am. My grandfather was Ecuadorian. He married an American. So my father's half American, half Ecuadorian. My dad went to Virginia Tech, but he went to the military part. He wanted to be an officer, and he could not be an officer because he was Ecuadorian. And it was a problem because his father was a diplomat, so he couldn't take American citizenship. And so one of his big regrets in life was not being an officer in the American Army. And I'm right in his office right now looking at his pictures. And I've been steeped in history ever since I was a little kid. And I will send you a picture of a certificate from General of the United States Army to my Aunt Jeannie. It says, as a token of gratitude for the appreciation of the help given to the soldiers and sailors in the United States, which enabled them to escape from or evade capture by the enemy. They had a farm outside of Rome, and she hid American and British airmen during the war.
Wow.
So I've been steeped with this all my life. My father was on the last boat crossing the Atlantic, Red Cross boat, and was stopped by a U-boat in the middle. So this is all I've had history ever since I was a kid. My son and I, my 5-year-old son, we were in Arlington in the summer and walking back from my grandfather's grave. And Kevin knows the story. I saw Bradley's grave, and General Omar Bradley, who was a soldier's general. And I have a picture with a not very happy son. And I said, you'll appreciate this picture in 20 years.
Yes.
So. That's what I mean. The fact that my family's there and all the things that Kevin mentioned, it means a great deal to me. I think we have to show appreciation and we have to learn history. What Kevin didn't mention is one of the things we plan to do with the Scouts is the Scouts will be giving out the flowers, and we're asking them to write to pick out a headstone and find out about that person, interview a relative, a descendant of that person, and find out about the war, about the battle he was in.
Yeah, it's a good point, Romero. We're hoping that is adopted by the Boy Scouts of America to be a service project.
Wow.
And we've had very good traction with it. All things would indicate that it's going to go through. This year would be the inaugural year of that project, where we're going to test it with the National Area Council of Boy Scouts of America there in Washington.
Wow, that's so cool.
These are the reasons we're doing it. But as Kevin said, to appreciate those who served, and to appreciate those supporting families.
So tell me, give me like a little anecdote of when you were there at one of the last. I guess you've done it 3 times now.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me like one time where you interacted with a family member who was at the memorial, maybe not expecting to see you all, and what what kind of reactions you got from them.
There's 1,000 of these.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
I'll take any story. Tell me 2. Tell me 3.
Kevin, you go first. I'll tell my Section 61.
Forget which year this was. I think it was probably 2012. Servicewoman walked up to me in full uniform and said, "Can I have a few roses?" She was obviously emotional, and I said, "Sure, no problem." And I went over to grab some roses, and I turned to her and said, "Would you like a color?" She asked for yellow, and I got yellow out, and normally, here's a rose and a few extras. Take one home to remember the day. You can honor another location with it if you wish. So I said, "Would you like a few more?" She said, "No, I only need 3. There was only 4 of us that day."
Oh, oh, oh my God.
So last year, a little girl came back to one of our distribution points at least 5 times, and she had a sister with her, and I forget their ages, but somewhere between 6 and 10, let's say. And she came back another time, and her father, and I think his name was Mike, I forget his last name, walked up behind her and said, "Hey, do you mind? Is it okay that the girls are getting roses?" No problem at all. Happy, as many as you'd like to have. And the little girl looks up and goes, "We want all the sites to look like our moms."
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's so. Oh, that's so sad. I can barely even type.
I can't give out flowers anymore because the first year I gave out flowers. We gave it in 2 places the first year, in Section 60 and also at the Visitor Center. And I was in Section 60, and a woman came up to me, and as I gave her the roses, she said, "My husband gave me flowers when he was born."
Huh?
And it took me a second to realize what she said.
I'm confused about that.
Right. Well,
don't feel bad. I didn't pick it up the first time either.
I didn't pick it up either for the first couple seconds. And he said, "Here, I'm giving flowers to her to put on her son's grave, who died in Afghanistan."
Oh. Wow.
So
and the woman who works, who does all the coordination for getting all the flowers, was giving flowers to a woman, and the woman came back, and she was waited patiently. This is also in Section 60. And she came up to Sophia, and she said to Sophia, "I'd like you to meet my son." And they basically walked about 250 yards, and there on a headstone with the flowers on it, that Sophia had given her, and a picture of her son.
Oh my God, this is awful. I can barely type. Oh my God, that is just so moving.
Yeah. So I've been in the flower business for 25 years, Renee, and by far this is the coolest thing I've ever done in my life. The most moving thing I've done, and I want to do this for the rest of my life.
So this is why we do it. You can say it a number of different ways. I think the facts are that we recognize there's a very worthy cause to support, and that is supporting other people that have sacrificed in some way, shape, or form. And we are in the floral industry and have the ability to pull it together, so that's what we do.
Wow.
The fringe benefits are all these other things. You learned something today about the end of World War II.
Yeah, thank you for that. So,
Renee, I mean, these are, maybe we shared 5 or 6 stories, but when you think about, since we started this, we've reached over 300,000 people. Imagine how many stories are out there.
You can come out and join us and be a volunteer and
I would be,
help hand out the flowers or lay them on the headstones.
you can count on me. I will be there. I would be honored and absolutely thrilled to do it. What an amazing experience it must be.